Hello everyone, this is Maria here, your social worker and parent coach. And I'm here today. I know it's Monday and I usually do these on Wednesdays or Thursdays, but I did a video last week and I actually didn't love it. So I'm here to do a redo, which is a great tip for parents and teachers, because I know there's teachers out here watching. And a lot of times we make mistakes with our kids. But guess what? The wonderful thing is we can do a redo. So that's one tip for today. I'm here to do a redo with you. I didn't like how I did it last time, and I want to make sure I give you all the information. So I have some notes written down, and I'm going to talk about them. So I had a few people last week comment on my video. They talked about sibling rivalry, getting children out the door. What was the other thing? I think there was sleep, bedtime issues. So I hope that what I'm going to share with you today really encompasses it all without having to do a video specifically to each and every one. So for the first part regarding the children, so I'm going to talk about children and I'm going to talk about us, because there's really two parts to this equation. It takes two to tango, right? So the first part I'm going to talk about is that behavior is a form of communication. Our children behave in certain ways to communicate, and sometimes they're really young, or because they're frustrated they can't get the right words out. So either it's a lack of skill, they don't know how to communicate the right way, or it's just because they can't, because their brain is flooded with all the frustration or the madness or whatever that's happening. So they're trying to communicate a need, and it's our job as parents to figure out exactly what that need is. So we have to dig deep and try to look under what the behavior is, what the tantrum is, what the no saying is all about, and figure out what that is. Dr. Dan Siegel looked at 4 different areas: soothe, secure, safe, and seen. Those are 4 common things that our children are looking for. They're looking for a way to get attention, which means that they need connection. So I think I might be moving a little too fast. We need to figure out, what is it that our kids need? Do they need something physical like food or water, or a lot of times it's food and water, some sort of drink, or sleep. So a physical need. It could also be something where they just need that connection. They're looking for attention and they need connection. So is it that they need 5 minutes with the parent, or is it that they need a hug, or is it that they need attention from the person they're fighting with? Maybe their sibling isn't paying attention to them and that's why they're fighting. So looking at what that need is really important. We have to be little detectives to figure out what is the behavior saying because the child can't say it. The other part is being able to teach our children. Discipline is a teaching opportunity. So instead of punishing our children, let's try to teach them so that they learn the right way. And we do this by role modeling. We do this by showing our kids a different way to speak to get their needs met. We show our children, instead of grabbing a toy, we ask, hey, when you're finished with that, can I play with that? And we role model physically, we role model with our words, but that way it's a teaching opportunity and we're not always resorting to punishment. We talk about feelings. So again, if the children are young, or if they are in a state of hyperreactivity, they're not able to come out with the vocabulary themselves. So being able to talk about the feelings, naming the feelings. I think it was Dan Siegel or someone else, but they suggested naming to tame the feeling. Name the feeling will tame the feeling. Giving a name to the feeling often disempowers the feeling and just brings some relief to the situation. So it's really important to practice naming the feelings that are happening. I see that you're frustrated. Are you feeling frustrated because your sister won't share the toy? Are you feeling frustrated or sad? Are you feeling sad because I won't lay in bed with you? So offering those kinds of things for our children are really important. So that's really the crux of what I want for us to pay attention to with the kids. So it's looking at behaviors, communication, teaching, and role modeling. and talking about feelings. And again, we need to do this, and it takes practice. The other thing is, I'm going to move into parenting, to us as the parents now. And I want all of us to really bring some self-empathy to the situation. I want us to forgive ourselves for when we make these mistakes. We can be the parent we want to be, but we need to make some changes. So I'm hoping some of these ideas will help you along that journey. As far as the parent, that's a big part, and a lot of times it's difficult for parents to hear this, but we need to accept the situation for what it is. A lot of times we see our kids fighting and we want to stop it. Whereas if everyone is safe, what we need to do is accept the situation. Our kids are fighting. And go forward without judgment, without saying, oh, to your older child, you're always the one starting this fight with your little sister. Can't you just share? You should know better. Those are all phrases that we say with judgment, and that doesn't really allow for honest communication. So let's accept the situation for what it is. It's happening. We can't change it, so we have to accept it for what it is. And what we can do, what we do have control of, is what we can do as far as looking at our internal landscape. What is happening on the inside? What is happening in my head? What are the words that I'm saying to myself? What are the phrases I'm saying? What are the feelings within my body physiologically? Is my heart racing? Is my stomach tight? Am I trying to, detach from my children and just ignore the situation and hope it goes away? Really get in tune and be a witness to what is happening inside of you. And the other thing is responding with compassion. Our children need us. A lot of times we respond with fear because we are afraid that they're going to continue fighting and they're going to fight forever, or they're never going to sleep by themselves, or whatever it is. And we usually react with fear instead of responding with compassion, which is what our children really need. They need some compassion to understand, so that they feel understood, so that they know, hey, my mom gets me. Even if I don't agree with the situation, I understand you're frustrated. You might have not handled it the right way, but I understand you're really frustrated. And the last thing, the most important thing, is to understand why you are being triggered. A lot of our parenting beliefs and what frustrates us comes down from the way we were parented. So we need to understand what those triggers are. For example, I have 2 girls, and I'm one of 2, and 2 sisters. And I was really mean to my little sister when I was a kid. And so now I tend to get really frustrated with my older child when she's mean to the little child, because I remember how I felt. I remember being mean to to my sister. And I don't want my older daughter treating my younger daughter the way I treated my little sister. So because of that, it easily triggers me. So you need to look inside yourself and think about, where does that trigger come from? Because once you understand that trigger, you really can start to sit with it a little bit longer and accept that as is and create some space. And with that space creates opportunity. And I think I've spoke about this before. Breath is so important. When our kids are fighting, when we're frustrated because they want us to lay with them at bedtime, or they want us to help pack their bag to get out the door, whatever it is, when we take a deep breath, we create space. And that space gives us the opportunity for change. It gives us the opportunity to look at the situation, to look within ourselves. So I hope all of this is really helpful in supporting you in some of these parenting challenges. Before I end, I want to say thank you for all the comments that I have received over the past few weeks for these videos. Please submit more. If any of you practice some of this, accepting of the as is and moving forward without judgment and looking at your triggers, I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear how that transformed the situation, and also continue following me on Facebook and check out my website for more updates. And Thank you. Have a great day.